and we experience more happy endings than not. And the one that I'd like to share with you in particular was I had a client couple with whom I'd been working for a very, very long time. And he was a doctor. And lovely couple, the kind of client couple everybody wants to have. They're very loving, very warm, very friendly. They're just fantastic people to deal with. And we were able to impress upon both parties at a very early stage how important it was for the wife to become involved in these financial discussions. Because what would happen if the husband weren't around anymore? He was one of these types who liked to self-manage his own portfolio. He used ETFs. He was a US citizen as well as a Canadian citizen. There were a lot of complexities to their situation. So we convinced her that she should participate. And over time, she became really comfortable. And she developed trust in me and my firm. And that's an advantage, right? If you're involving both parties in a couple, that if one person isn't around, then you won't lose that client because they've already developed a relationship with you. So what unfortunately happened was the doctor went to a conference. He was supposed to speak at a conference. It happened to be in Europe, as a matter of fact. And she happened to know somebody in that city, so she went off to have lunch with that person. So they usually touch base before his talk, and she tried to call him and say, you know, good luck and everything. But he didn't answer the phone, he didn't answer texts, he didn't reply to email, and she thought, this was really unusual, something's gone wrong. And so she called the front desk and said, please go upstairs, send somebody upstairs right away and check on my husband. I think there's something wrong. And the person said, oh, don't worry, I'm sure everything's fine. She goes, no, you have to do this right this moment. I know there's something wrong. And so they went upstairs and they checked. The poor man was lying on the floor in the bathroom. He'd had an aneurysm. He was still alive, but unfortunately did not make it. He did die. But because the good news about this is that because this particular widow had developed a degree of comfort with talking about financial matters and dealing with me and talking with other financial professionals, that after she kind of got past the grief, she was able to seek out advice. Obviously, she wasn't going to manage her own portfolio. It was a multi-million-dollar portfolio, but we were able to take her through a portfolio manager search, and she was able to not be intimidated by that process, and her daughter was along too, and it ended very well. So, and even if something dire like that doesn't happen, other client couples find it easier to work together towards their joint family goals. And so everybody's rowing in the same direction instead of opposite each other.